After Season 1, we all went underground. The big question for everyone was, where do we take it from here? We all knew what was on our minds, though. There was only one big thing to do. We needed to go national. National was a big step, nothing like what we've done before. It was time to start over. It was time to go back to the roots, back where it all started. I hadn't been in the hole for a year. None of us had, but we needed a base. We needed somewhere to coordinate our forces. So in order to get this flying, we needed to take a step back. We needed to take a step on the ground. We needed people. Anyone we could trust. Anyone with the skills. It was time to go new. It was time to go all out. So I dug up some old numbers. And people started showing up. People I never thought I'd see again. Everyone was here. There was John. If it would have been a StarCraft unit, it'd been a fire bat. Why? I can't tell you. For legal reasons. There was Jen. Jen lets her dice do all her decisions. She says the NSA can't predict her that way. And there was Doc. Doc had a mind like no one else. We didn't need a computer when we had him around. You just need someone to guide him a little. He has a habit of getting caught up with details. Doc's sister was there too. What Doc had in mind power, she had in memory. Anything she's ever seen or heard, she remembers. Clear as day. There was Pierre, French bastard. They're all the brothers. If you want to do something big, these are the guys you're looking for. They don't do anything that isn't at least twice as big as usual. And lastly, there was B-Boy. He didn't look much to the world, but he's the only guy I know who can six-pool twice in the same game. It was time to lay down the plans. This time, we had a whole country to cover. We wanted everyone who had ever studied anything and played StarCraft to get the message. Every cannon Russians, one base and 6 pooling random plane expansion cancelling battlecruiser Russian dropship abusing student in Sweden was welcome. It was time for all students to step up to the challenge. It was time to step up to the game. And it was time for us to step up to promoting. We had to do something really big to be seen this time. And I had just the event for that plan. It was time to redefine the word big. It was time to crown the King of the Dome.
Hello everyone. So I'm sitting here with ThorZaiN and viPro, and we finally got this show started. And these guys have just recently started studying, and despite this, ThorZaiN, you've been doing really well in WCS Europe Premier League, finishing top 16. How do you experience it to be balancing studying and playing StarCraft?
So far, it hasn't really been an issue. We haven't had a lot of things to do in school, and since I just started playing, I don't think that it has affected my play at all. I don't have any idea of what it would look like in the future, though. Like, it depends on school, obviously, but so far, not an issue.
Yeah, speaking of that, what are your future plans regarding pro gaming? Do you have any foreseeable plans for the future regarding that, now that you're in med school?
Well, I'm still gonna keep doing what I've been doing. Like, I don't have any immediate goals, except for just like try to keep up my skill level as much as possible and attend the tournaments I can.
I see. And viPro, a lot of people might not know you that well, and you're studying as well. Would you mind talking a bit about what you're studying and how you manage your time with being a pro gamer and studying at the same time?
Yeah, so I study as civil engineer, and I started now like 1.5 months ago or something. And yeah, it has been not really a big issue at the moment, at least. I just try to play as much as I have motivation and free time outside of the school, so it's working pretty well so far, and just taking one day at a time, and yeah, then we will see how that goes in the end. But yeah, right now there's not really an issue, at least.
And speaking about people not being that familiar with you, do you have anything to share to our viewers about yourself that could be interesting to know?
Well, I'm kind of a man of my secrets, but something that I could tell that I like to do like outside of gaming is both playing guitar, piano, singing, and like painting. So like I'm necessarily not a computer nerd that most people would maybe expect out of a pro gamer. So yeah, that's something, I guess.
Well, that's very interesting. So you're also one of the few Europeans playing for a North American-based team. So why did you decide on joining Complexity instead of a team that might be a bit closer to home?
Yeah, well, I guess it started because a while back I became pretty good friends with QXC and TriMaster, so I got to know them really well. But at that point, there wasn't really any chance to join that team because of the like region's difficulties. So I joined Caronte, but as Caronte disbanded, they wanted more Protoses, and I was really good friends with them, so it was like joining a family, so it came very natural, and yeah, things happened very quickly, and that's why I joined them.
Okay, I see. Well, guys, it's been a long delay, and we are gonna get these games underway. So if you would mind shaking hands and get on over to your booths. And casters, take it away.
Alrighty then. Let's get down to casting. Oh, there's Swedish size. Did you spell it? I think they spelled it correctly. Here I am again. This time with Mr. Bad Example. Very welcome.
Thanks a lot.
It's nice to have you here.
It's
you look beautiful, man.
That was very nice.
I wanted to start this off awkwardly. Did I manage?
Yeah, we should like. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, that's a lot of awkward. Never mind. So you're going to see me.
It's funny if you understand everything.
It's funny. All right, we see the players finally, at least, walking up to their booths. And we're going to start talking about the matchup, of course. I'm DreamDuck, as I don't know if I introduced myself in the beginning. I didn't. The lead caster here, I'll be casting with Mr. Bad Example here. Later on, we have two other guys. Lucky Duck is going to be casting with Suede, and then Semler and Nathanias are going to pop in later during the day as well to cast the third place finals and the grand finals, and that's going to be awesome. But with that, let's throw ourselves into the first matchup. So TVP,
exactly. It's going to be ThorZaiN versus viPro, as you might have guessed after watching the stream.
Yes.
Yeah, the first map is actually going to be Frost.
Yeah, we have the map picks here. Could you go through they got to ban 2 of them and pick 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the map pool to start off with.
Yeah, it's just the normal ladder maps. So it's 7 maps, and they ban 1 each, which leaves 5, and since it's a best of 5. So then we just random the order, and it's viPro actually banned Polar Knight, and ThorZaiN banned Belcher Vestige.
Exactly.
Exactly. So they banned those two, and the first map's going to be Frost.
The first map's going to be Frost.
Which is going to be very interesting.
All right. And we got the game setting up. And meanwhile, let's talk a little something about these players. viPro and ThorZaiN, both of them study as of right now. ThorZaiN just started his medicine studies, which is nice. He stated that I hope I have enough time outside of my studies to still keep playing StarCraft. I've heard medicine is easy, right? It's not much work, really.
I have no idea, actually.
I have no idea. Okay, no.
Or maybe you were being ironic.
Yeah, I was being ironic there.
Oh,
Thank you for getting that. Yeah, thank you for catching
Finally,
it.
I got it.
That was very ironic. Yes, medicine takes a lot of time to study. So let's hope that ThorZaiN has a lot more time to play, because we want to see a lot more Spoon Terran games.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
But, I mean, I'm not sure if he needs time, actually. I talked to him when we did the Propcast, and which is a talk show, which we do. And I just talked with ThorZaiN, and he said, like, well, I haven't been playing a lot, so I don't feel that comfortable. And then he still beat his run of 32, or maybe round of 64 group in the WCS kind of easily, and just went to like, don't have much time, but I'm still like top 32 in Europe. So.
Exactly. It's hard
pretty good.
ThorZaiN.
You could say
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's all right. Let's just say he's all right. He's
pretty
still an
okay.
all right player. Yeah. Even if he doesn't put that much time into StarCraft. All right. So let's talk about viPro real quickly, because ThorZaiN, I mean, does he need a lot more introduction? Can we talk about he of course won DreamHack a while back. Which was a good while ago then again. But do we have, what has ThorZaiN more done? What's do you have any nice titles?
Well, I would guess like the biggest achievement for me would maybe be like he is the first foreigner in like 5-6 years to win a game in Pro League, which is pretty cool, because Pro League is it's kind of tough. I mean, there's kind of good players in Pro League, and ThorZaiN just he won a game in Pro League, which might not sound that impressive, but he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Pro League is where the pros play. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, ThorZaiN, of course, many people know a lot about. But viPro, what do we know about him? You have a little some intel on him, do you? No?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. viPro is a guy I've known for quite a while, and he's always been there. So he's been like one of the best players in the Swedish scene, but he's never been one of the Swedish players with the most results. I mean, he's always played good. He's always went to DreamHack and got to the third group stage, which is pretty damn hard. And he like always been pretty close to getting through. I mean, this DreamHack summer, I talked to him, and he said like, I lost this close series to the show, then he beat sort of, and then he lost the close series to Squirtle, and he was out. But that just still goes to show that he's pretty good. So I mean, he's probably one of the most underrated players that I know of.
I've heard that he's been the practice partner of a few very top players. I've heard about MC.
Yeah, exactly. MC was actually stating on, I think it was the last assembly, where he was stating on the mainstream, like when he did his shoutouts, he shouted to viPro because he was such a great practice partner, and also in his team complexity.
MC doing shoutouts. That's gonna be fun to watch. He's so gangster, MC. Very gangster. Yes, as gangster as a StarCraft player could ever be. That's MC right there. All right, so yeah, viPro, still a pretty accomplished player, to say the least. He's probably the least known one among the four we have playing here. Yeah. That doesn't mean he's a bad player in any way. He's actually been doing some pretty good results, even though he's been underground, you might say. A little bit underground. It depends on how far down you're into the ground. I mean, you're like in the sewers, my friend. You're so far underground. You know all of the players. So for us who just watch, the big events and stay on it on a more surface level, I don't think we've seen too much of viPro, I guess.
Anyway, I would say if it's one player, if you want a player to check out, I think it's underrated. I mean, viPro is definitely one of them.
Yes.
He recently joined. He's been jumping around from a lot of different teams. I mean, he's been like in the Goodies team, then he joined the Carante, I don't know how you pronounce it, maybe Carante, and then now he's joined Complexity. So he's had a lot of different practice partners, and I know he's been practicing really a lot of time. I mean, when I talked to him at DreamHack Summer, he said he's spending like 7-10 hours every day practicing, which is pretty. He's a hardworking Protoss, really.
He's a hardworking Protoss, and he's studying for an engineer as well, which is interesting. So he combines engineering studies with 7 to 8 hours of StarCraft.
Well, maybe he doesn't play as much now.
No, probably not.
Probably not. No, I wouldn't think so.
We'll see if he keeps producing results. Let's hope him climb in a bit. So, predictions for this?
Predictions?
Will you have to go with ThorZaiN?
I would love to go for viPro, but I don't think I can actually, because like ThorZaiN is just such a good player. So even though I want to support viPro, I think he's really underrated. I'm gonna have to say like ThorZaiN 3-2 maybe. I think viPro can take 2 games, but
I think viPro definitely has the possibility to take ThorZaiN out. How important do you think the momentum is here? I'm thinking that viPro would really like to take the first game, and of course the point is with viPro is that he plays against someone with such a huge name and a following as ThorZaiN. So how would you open up as a pro? You don't play Protoss, but what would you guess coming from viPro in the first game?
I would not believe that viPro feels intimidated.
No.
Yeah, I think
straight up macro game, first one.
I would guess straight up macro game with a twist. So maybe like a 2-base DT drop or something, and then into a 3rd base, and then into Colossi and a macro game. Yeah. So yeah, some little bit of twisting it up, but playing a standard macro game and going for the late game, I think. Definitely think so, because even though you might think, just judging by the names, that viPro would be a bit scared by ThorZaiN, I know they are old friends, they know each other very well. I know viPro just spent the night sleeping in ThorZaiN's house, actually, or apartment or whatever.
Spent the night with ThorZaiN. That's nice.
Exactly.
That's nice. Yeah. So they're very close friends.
They're so that close
they're
friends.
Super close people. All right. Well, that's nice. Yeah, well, they're very good friends. They've been talking a lot before this as well, and they had a lot of fun during the interviews and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, they're very good friends. I think they must have been practicing a lot with each other as well. Do you think they know their play style? Each other's play style in and out, and how? I'm not sure.
I would guess they know each other pretty well.
I think so too. Yeah, but if they both started studying now, probably haven't had that much time.
Maybe not.
I mean, with Heart of the Swarm, the game has been evolving a lot more rapidly, of course, than in the end of Wings of Liberty. So with the expansion, yeah, we don't know if they don't know each other's playstyle as well. If they haven't played each other for a while, they might have evolved a bit. And with that, it's time to throw ourselves finally into game number 1. This is what we actually came here to do. We want applause for this if you're in the dome there. I don't know if we can get the mic on that, but finally we're in the game. And would you like to do the honors of the first one?
I could.
Yes, you could.
Here in the top right corner, a red Terran player from Team EG. One of the most experienced foreign players. It's EG ThorZaiN. EG ThorZaiN.
Bam, ThorZaiN. All right, and I'm going to grab the other one. In the top left corner, we have the man, the myth, the legend from Team Complexity, formerly a lot of other different teams, but right now he's Complexity, and this is the Protoss viPro.
Yeah.
I think I overdid that one.
Nah, it was okay.
It was pretty good. I think it was pretty
good.
I liked it. I'm happy with that. All right, so ThorZaiN versus viPro, and we have 2 top spawns here.
Yeah, this is actually interesting. I mean, the air distance is going to be pretty close.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if the players are going to be... I'm not sure if they're going to, but there's some great proxy spots here for viPro just with these spawning positions. I mean, if you wanted to get down a proxy oracle and just do some damage really early, there are definitely some great spots for that. However, I would not believe that he's going to scout so fast, and I wouldn't think he's... I don't think he's going to go for it, but he could on this map.
He could do that. We were talking about straight up macro game. It's just playing pretty standard, and proxying something is how standard is that? Could you consider it a part of standard play nowadays? Is it that much is there that much proxying? And if you do a proxy, which is, well, for the people, I'm going to actually try to be taking this costing down for the people who don't play the game that much. You just run over to the second player's base, and right outside it, or close to it, a lot closer, you build your own production facility so that you can rush in early units and taking the other player by surprise. Now, the problem is, of course, if you have your facilities very close to the enemy, if he scouts them, then he can take them out, and in that case, you're in a lot of trouble. How much trouble would you be in with a scouted out proxy, let's say a Stargate for oracles?
I mean, if you place it in the correct spot, the Marines are not going to be able to just go there and kill it. No. So it's going to finish anyway. But, I mean, you're not going to be able to do that much damage because the other player is going to see what you're doing. Yeah,
of course. And then again, you will always lost the resources and a bit of the tech path as well with that one, if you can't get a use out of it before it's destroyed by the enemy. So what we see happening so far?
We've seen commands at the first for ThorZaiN, which I'm a bit surprised by. I mean, ThorZaiN is a player that usually plays for like a safe late game, so I would rather expect a 1-Rex expand or a Reaper expand rather than a command center first. But it's also a player that likes to mix it up. He likes to not be predictable. So, I mean, he's the kind of guy that could go for like a proxy barracks or something crazy, but he like just likes to go for the late game. And I mean, viPro scouts this and throws down an XI, which Nexus, which ThorZaiN scouts as well. So they're pretty even so far, but I would say that ThorZaiN has got the better end of the early game, even though it's not a big deal.
Not a big advantage that much. Well, you could basically say that ThorZaiN was, I guess, very comfortable with viPro not doing any strange shenanigans, any proxies, any early rushes in the first game. Probably thought that he would definitely pick it up to macro game and let these two meet on pretty equal grounds to see who's got the better macro, who's got the better gameplay overall. And with that knowledge, then ThorZaiN decided that, yeah, sure, it's probably safe to just grab an early expansion and grabbing a small lead.
Now it's going to be really interesting to see what ThorZaiN does with his next set of minerals. There's actually a third barracks.
I
was going to say, if he could go for double gas after 2 racks and then go into a quick stem and a quick factory for a medevac timing, but he actually goes for the third barracks before the refineries. So this leans towards that he rather wants to do a big push than a quick one.
All right.
So with the double gas, he can do a quicker push, but with the third rack, he's going to be able to do a bigger push later on.
All right. So it just basically delays his push strategy a little with delaying the gas and the tech. So what are we going to see from viPro? Do we have any tells on what he's going to go into tech-wise? He's got a robotics coming down.
Yeah, we actually have 2 big tech buildings here. We have the forge and the robotics facility. So
yes.
The upgrade that's going to come out on the forge is going to be pretty telling. If it's +1 attack, I would say it's definitely going to go into Colossi. But it could also go for the +1 armor, just use the robotic facility for observers and then go into a lot of shard shells and a lot of gateway units. So keep an eye out, and there is actually the +1 armor. So I expect Twilight Council and a lot of gateways to come down eventually, rather than the quick Colossi.
Yes. So what does this put him in the game? Will he do a later push than ThorZaiN?
I mean, he has. If he goes for the big shard shell play, which I would guess, he has kind of 2 options: either a big like shard shell arc on all-in of the 2 bases, or just taking a third. So I mean, he has everything open to him right now, all the possibilities. But he's still chrono boosting and building a lot of workers. And there's actually a robotic space, so he's making me look kind of stupid.
He goes for the Colossi right there.
Yeah, so
saying that yeah, sure, he can go for the Colossi and the armor as well. Apparently.
Apparently, you can.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the ThorZain's basis is actually very interesting. It goes for 5 racks pretty early.
Okay, so there's a lot of production facilities going down.
This works out well with the adding of the third racks pretty early, because it's just gonna have a huge amount of production of 2 bases. So this is
going to be a 2-base really huge push. It's going to be on the level where he would bring his workers well.
I mean, that is definitely possible. He could bring his workers and just go for a big 2-base on. I don't think he will.
No.
I think this is just going to be a big pressure off of 2 bases and just try to contain viPro. Just sit outside of his base while he can take a third.
But contain on 2 bases.
Exactly.
Which is kind of important, isn't it, for Terran nowadays in the metagame right now?
Yeah, I would agree. If the Protoss gets a third, it's going to be really tough for the Terran player. We actually see ThorZaiN scanning and taking out an observer there, but viPro's actually been building 2 additional ones. So 3 observers out before the Colossus with no immortals. This means that he feels safe as well. I mean, you can go for like 1 immortal if you feel that pressure might be coming early, but there's the Colossus after 3 observers. So everything standard macro-wise for viPro, but I'm a bit worried for him if ThorZaiN just gets up a lot of production of these 5 barracks. I mean, 5 barracks is a lot.
He has his upgrades going there, lining up combat shield, stim, and the attack upgrade as well. There's going to be probably quite a huge push here, and I don't know if that Colossi, there's 1 Colossus coming out, he's going to have the range done when they attack, and he's going to have attack upgrade as well. But there's a Dark Shrine coming down there. Is that going to help?
I mean, it's not going to help at all with
it sounds hard.
Push.
It's actually going to delay
there's
his tech.
a 3rd Nexus as well. I mean, viPro, I think, is kind of misreading this. I mean, if ThorZaiN would have went 3 barracks and in the 3rd command center, then maybe adding a 2nd engineering bay and an armory, this would have been fine. Do some damage with the DTs, take a 3rd base, go for the late game. But now with such a huge 2-base push coming, I mean, I would have rather seen added gateways, maybe a Templar Archives instead of the Dark Shrine, and more Colossi, because this is going to be a tough hold for viPro. I mean, these medevacs are maybe going to be able to take out the 3rd base.
Yeah, most probably. Now, he scouted, of course, ThorZain's. He just scouted ThorZain's production facilities with Hallucinated Phoenix there, so he's seen all the production, so he should know that this is coming. And here's a drop, going to take out that third Nexus, but he didn't do that, actually. He managed to he pulled out as he saw the Colossus coming. I think he could have possibly cancelled that one.
I mean, he could have tried. He dropped too close to the pylon, so his units auto-attacked the pylon, which means viPro got vision of it. But still, this is a balls third base from viPro, and there's actually the factory floating in for ThorZain's going to be able to spot the direction. And I don't think we have any DTs. Oh yeah, we have 2 DTs on the way to ThorZain's third base. So
exactly,
yeah, viPro might be able to get a cancel here. Or no, he doesn't go for it. He actually just goes for the main base, and there's the missile turret. ThorZain knows what's happening. Does he have a scan? No scans for ThorZain, so viPro is going to be able to get into the main base with his DTs.
But ThorZain has seen it and blocks it with his main forces, man.
Wow.
That is the mark of a nice player. And viPro says, sure, I'm going to do as much damage as I can. I'm going to fight myself out of there. This is Sparta, is what the PT just yelled right there. And viPro actually thwarted a drop there in the third as well. So his third is actually up and running. And if he gets this up, he's going to have a nice economy, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, viPro did secure the early third base while ThorZain didn't. Yeah. But just looking at the armor supplies right now, I mean, ThorZain is 84 to 48, so his production has been doing some work. He has a huge armor right now. However, what viPro can be hoping for is that the tech has a tech advantage, I would say, with 2 Colossi against 2 Vikings.
Exactly. I mean, with that earlier third base, if he lets this kick in, viPro actually has 62 workers to ThorZain's 52. So he has an advantage there on the economical part as well. So if he just lets this kick in with all the tech routes, he's going to have a huge tech advantage to ThorZain. So is ThorZain wasting too much time here? Is the question.
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, if he just sits on his 3 bases. I mean, he could go for some big pressure, but that would be a kind of risky with a photon overcharge and with the force fields and everything. So if it just maxes out and then attacks, I think that would be perfectly fine. I mean, viPro has kind of... I would say that he's almost misread ThorZain here, because he went for 2 Colossi, like he wants to force out Vikings and then do a quick switch into like Archon Immortal Shard Zealot. But the ghosts are very early for ThorZain. He already has 6 ghosts out, so... And here's a lot of SCVs from ThorZain. He's going to go for a big 3-base all-in.
Here we go. A lot of SCVs dropping in.
Stand a chance here.
This is going to be very hard actually to hold. There's a lot of SCVs coming in there to tank the damage, of course, but there's a lot of Archons doing a lot of splash damage. Huge time warp, catching all of the army in the choke point right there. And actually, viPro is doing a lot of damage, but that's not going to be enough whatsoever. There's a lot of bioforces left, and this Bioforce is, I don't know, this is a GG, I guess. This is so many forces left, and I don't think the viPro can actually produce back to get back into this game.
He's going to lose the third base at least. I mean, ThorZain is really showing the strength of this new Terran style, where you just go for the big 3-base all-in. He has the Ghosts, he has the Vikings, and this big Marine Marauder army. I mean, viPro doesn't GG yet, but he's in a tough position.
Very tough position.
Even though ThorZain is the only workers, he's producing 3 SCVs at a time and having mules, so it's not GG yet, but it looks really tough.
It looks a bit tough. And there's a scan to take out the yes, exactly. And there's the GG right there. There was a scan there, of course, to take out. ThorZain looks very happy. He looks very satisfied with that, saying, well, that was a pretty simple game, I guess. Did this come down to the misread by viPro, actually, of ThorZain's build? Did viPro not expect that push to come that early?
Yeah, I mean, this Terran style is very common, where you just go for a big 3-base all-in, but you usually do it when maxed. ThorZain did it before. I'm not sure how much supply, but maybe like 160 supply. He just pulled a lot of workers and went for it as soon as he had the Ghost and the Vikings out. So yeah, maybe viPro expected the big 3-base all-in to come when ThorZain was maxed. I don't know. He just went for 2 Colossi with range and then switched out of it with a couple of Colossi more. Maybe could have done it, but like he wasn't quite in the middle of a transition. Did not have enough Colossi, did not have any high temperatures with Storm, so...
He was going for a very greedy build, trying to get out the Archons, the Colossus, and at the same time the third base. So I'm guessing that that ThorZain, with the nice scout of the Dark Templar, the Templar Shrine, in that case, just decided that why should I wait for being maxed out when I can hit him before all his tech paths actually manage to produce anything?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, viPro really went for the late game there. I mean, if he would have done some damage with the DTs and ThorZain would not have all, then viPro would have been in a great position. He had the Colossus, was switching into like a lot of Shard Zealots and Immortals.
And it looked very good for him there for a while, actually.
Yeah,
when he managed to keep the third Nexus going, and he managed to saturate that, he had a lot of workers. So just giving it, I guess, in 1 more minute, ThorZain would have had a lot harder time doing that push.
Yeah, I would say so, but ThorZain just read the situation perfectly, viPro didn't, and yeah, that's what that game came down to pretty much.
That's what it came down to in the end. Well, being ThorZain, you know how stuff is going down, so he went down with the stuff. That's what he did. Great casting right here. That's well, that's the mark of a pretty nice, of a well-versed player. I mean, ThorZaiN has played in all kinds of different tournaments and played so many games that he can quite easily read opponents off and try to actually throw himself into what seemed to be quite an awkward timing, but he made it work pretty simply. It's pretty much about just reading where your opponent is going, trying to find any holes that would create. Yeah. And for viPro, he scouted actually the production facilities of ThorZaiN right at a very good moment there with a hallucinated Phoenix. But I'm guessing he just basically stated that it's probably going to wait for a maxed out push.
I mean, viPro taking the early third Nexus, even though seeing 5 barracks, it shows a lot of confidence.
It
but
did.
Yeah, it's... Yeah,
all right. Well, I guess confidence is good.
Confidence is great.
Confidence is awesome. And the players are ready with that to go into game number 2 out of this best of 5. And ThorZaiN is up 1 point. Let's see if viPro can actually catch this. And we had a prediction of 3-2 here. I would love to see this go into game number 5, even though we were a bit delayed. We want as much StarCraft as possible. And we want as nice games as possible, of course. So let's throw ourselves into the game with this. We can take a look at viPro looking very focused in the booth there. And ThorZaiN chirping a little, singing something. I don't know what he's doing right there. He's reading something out loud on the screen. I don't know. Let's do and I'm going to grab the honors this time of introducing our Terran players. So up here in the top right corner, we have Evil Genius's Terran player, ThorZaiN, the king of the Swedes. King of the North?
Is that like
it's not the king, but he was like the king of the North.
King of the Swedes.
No, there was a lot of talk on the king of the North thing, but then I heard there was some sort of controversy. Never mind. Introduce viPro, we can talk about that later.
Okay. Hopefully not, just subject to the king. Here in the bottom left, the blue Protoss player from Team Complexity, one of the most underrated Swedish players and one of my personal favorites. It is viPro.
Bam. There it is, the man, the myth. Looking very focused actually. You can see that he's, in my head I see him thinking around what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And what is he going to do? Do you think just another straight up macro game here?
I definitely think he would go for an early expansion.
Yeah.
Which
I think that sounds, it would be very it would almost be rude of ThorZaiN to after that go into some sort of cheese actually. Any type of very early aggression, I guess.
It would be, but ThorZaiN is a player that
you can't expect anything from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of his main things. I would like to say he's like MVP.
Yeah.
You never knew what he's going to do. He could do 11-11, he could do CC first, he could do something standard. You never knew. And here we see ThorZaiN going for the CC first in the first game. He's going for a really fast Reaper here in the second game.
Right.
He's probably just going to go into the command center here after that, but I would actually love on this map if you would go for the show build. You know what the show build is?
I don't know what the show build is.
The show build
but I'm guessing you're going to tell me.
You want to hear?
Yes, I do want to hear.
Okay, so the show build is it's what Show did at DreamHack Summer that took him all the way to the run of 4.
Wait, have you coined the show build?
I didn't. Someone else did.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to see if it's something that I should have known at all, or if you just came up with that.
I don't know how respectable that is. But
all right, yeah. So the show build.
So the show build. ThorZaiN sub is not going to go for this. He builds a command center, but you build a second barracks after your second supply depot, so like on 16 supply, and then you just get 5 Reapers, and then you just like kill stalkers with Reapers.
Everything with Reapers.
It's actually really cool.
It's a pretty cool build actually. Reapers are surprisingly powerful in large masses. They're like in my world they're like Terran's version of Mutalisks. Almost. If you just mass them up, they have a lot of movement and they can get around doing a lot of damage. But then again, they don't really take that much damage. And here we go, ThorZaiN running in here, trying to do some damage. Managed to break off a probe there, and he's going to be chased out and actually taken out by the Mothership Core. And nice catch there by viPro. So that's
definitely a miss micro from ThorZaiN's side.
That was a definite miss micro. That gives him no scouting information on the main base, and he didn't even see the third coming down. Well, he could have thought the third could be coming down. He of course killed the pro that was about to build it, so he can expect the third coming down, but he doesn't know.
He took a lot of damage from the Zealot killing the first SCV, or the first probe, so he just went down to the Mothership Core, which is very unfortunate for ThorZaiN's side, but on the other hand, I would not guess he was expecting the Zealot.
No.
Often you just skip the Zealot and go for the other next side, but...
Yeah, viPro started with a really safe build.
Absolutely, and it looks like he's going to want to put some pressure here, but he's just going to go up the ramp, see the bunker, and then go away. ThorZaiN went for the second barracks with the reactor. Is back to binding gas right now, so he's probably just going to go for a quick stim. And same as last game, if he goes for a factory after these two barracks, it's going to be very interesting. Or if he just wants to add the third barracks and then the second gas in the factory. Let's see what viPro wants to do with his mothership core here. Is he going to time warp?
He's going to try to do, well, he's going to harass here, and so far there's been no use for a time warp since ThorZaiN
he actually gets an SCV.
He gets an SCV, that's nice. The mothership core is more like, well, it's not really designed to do damage, if we put it that way.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, but it's there, and it gets chased down by those Marines. Will be just fine, actually. Now we saw a scouting SCV from ThorZaiN scouting the top part of the map as well as he's probably scouted the lower one. I think it looks like he's afraid of, since he didn't see the expansion coming down. I think he was afraid of any type of proxy, any type of strange moves from viPro's side, and he should be, because you know in this case, after losing game number 1, some players like to mix it up and do some strange strategies. Actually,
ThorZaiN is playing really smart here. viPro sent the mothership core over to do some damage. That means that this slow flying unit is not going to be home anytime soon. So he's just pushing out with 8 Marines and a Marauder. With no Nexus Cannon, this could actually do some damage, but with viPro going for 4 sentries, he's obviously going to move to 4.
And he's going to be able to catch the mothership core in its flight path right across there and taking it out. The time warp really did not help, and well, it wouldn't have had time for a recall. Did even have energy for a recall there, and this is going to be hard. There's just sentries, and it needs to be nice force fields on this ramp here, but those that energy is going to deplete quite well. Is viPro going to be able to get units up enough? There's just not enough units for ThorZaiN, though, I guess. He can't really push that.
Well, viPro is definitely not going to die to this. He's not going to die to like 7 Marines and a Marauder. But however, like killing the mothership core is just huge. I mean,
yeah, it's absolutely
if
huge.
viPro would have the mothership core sitting here with 200 energy, it could throw down 2 photon overcharges, which means like he would be unkillable for 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Now he has no mothership core and is not even starting to rebuild it yet.
No.
So he has very few defensive possibilities, but he doesn't care about defense right now. He has +1 armor, 5 gates. I think he just wants to go for it.
I think it looks like he wants to go for it, but there was definitely a small delay in that push there, where the mothership ship core killed and some force fields baited out. He would not, maybe not even have had to use those in another case scenario. And ThorZaiN is really seeing this coming. He's pulling out a lot of SCVs here, possibly a little prematurely, but then again, you don't really know when this push is coming. There's a lot of proxy pylons put out across the map, and there's some stalkers whopping in. There's a lot of zealots, some sentries and stalkers going to be pushed up this ramp, and ThorZaiN scouts this with the worker. He knows this is coming, but is he going to be able to hold this? It looks a little bad for viPro.
This is a very interesting build. With a +1 armor for the cells, along with the Guardian Shield, he reduces incoming range damage by 3. A Marine does 6 damage.
Exactly, so 50% reduction.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually really good. But ThorZaiN just played really smart here. Got out 2 Widow Mines. There's no detection even on the way for viPro, so these Widow Mines are going to be
Those Widow Mines are going to hold that ramp perfectly. Just got the Widow Mines out right there.
Or will they send up some hallucinated probes to detonate them?
Oh,
that would be
pimp.
Awesome.
That would be the definition of pimp. But then again, he's got 3 bunkers there, so he can repair those bunkers. I'm thinking those Widow Mines are going to get another hit off before viPro could even actually get past those bunkers.
And viPro is actually just pulling back. He's going for the second forge and the Templar Archives. So he's just going to be chrono boosting the upgrades, and maybe wants to hit a 2-2 timing attack off of 2 bases. Maybe with like with a big maybe with high Templars or just Archons and a lot of charge shells. Or he wants to take the 3rd base. We'll see if viPro takes the 3rd Nexus. He needs to take it pretty soon, because ThorZaiN has been sitting on 3 commands for quite a while and is actually ahead on workers.
Yeah, and ThorZain's got his upgrades coming up here. He's slowly putting down, he's going to get ghosts up here in a while as well, and he's scouting the map as well, taking out proxy pylons, flying around. He's going to try to get some drops in there to do some harassment and try to regain some of that map control. Of course, it's hard for viPro. When he pushed, figured that he couldn't get up to ramp, he moved back into his base to defend for any type of drops coming down there. So Storm coming up, as you stated, possibly looking for a timing push here further row. So Storm coming up, the upgrades as well.
Wow.
Oh, and we're waiting for the server, apparently.
Yeah, there's just going to be a little bit of technical difficulties right here. But something that ThorZaiN does really well is he knows there is no robotic facility for viPro, which means that he's not going to be able to scout for dropships, which is just so high-level mind games going on.
There's so many things going on here. Let's talk a little bit about the, while we're down here. Oh, actually, we're back into the game. It started up. So we're going to keep continuing, and this hallucinated Phoenix is chasing away a Medivac, which is annoying. ThorZaiN doesn't really care. He's going to just let it go, be there. He's going to drop the units on the tower, regain some, and kill that annoying non-real unit right there. Yeah, so there's a lot of mind games going on here. Of course, yeah, he sends out a lot of dropships, and viPro actually is very good at using his hallucination energy from the sentries. Now, of course, in Heart of the Swarm, they changed that so that the hallucination does not need to be researched anymore. And I'm thinking there's still a few players on even the higher levels that haven't really got it into their system, that they had free scouting if they just use some energy.
It looks like the third base is going to be dropped here. It looks like viPro,
Yes.
he's just going to cancel it. It looks like ThorZaiN is just really far ahead.
And ThorZaiN
and he's
actually
go
pushes the natural here, and he's actually going to run right up the ramp into the main. And I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do. He's going to take out all the
You have an Orbin right next to him. Now he pulls it, and here everything comes. I think these units are doomed for ThorZaiN, but he did manage to take out the third base.
He did so, and he actually is going to get those medivacs right out of there, I think. No, it turns around,
he's going to go
but there's
back into the
not much there too. Oh, the Photon Overcharge is going to be able to take out that medivac with one more shot.
Yes, yes. Get one medivac.
So one medivac down, and the other one gets out of there. So a few units cleared up, but at least
yes, feedback. Great job by viPro.
Thank you very much, viPro. Handling it like a boss. So no real damage done there by ThorZaiN. It was a nice push, though. All right, and viPro is just cleaning this up like nothing, man. He's got no problem with this. No real damage done from ThorZaiN. He's still ahead in supply, though, but he's been able to try to poke a little. And if nothing else, he has a full scout on viPro, actually. The problem is that he did get a cancel on that third base, and whereas I say no damage, well, that's quite huge economical damage, actually. So with ThorZaiN's third up, I'm thinking we're going to see him snowball for a while here, and viPro's going to have to stay on the defensive, I guess. Or
I mean, ThorZaiN is ahead in the economy side, having the third base up for a long time. He's ahead in the army, I mean, both in the army supply. No, they're actually equal in army supply, but when the in-armor composition is in a good position as well.
But the
however,
advantage.
Yeah, exactly. The +2/+2 is done for viPro, while ThorZaiN is on 1-1.
Yes.
So, I mean, either viPro just wants to go for this 2-2 timing, which it looks like, but it has not charged. I don't know if that was a mistake, if he just forgot it, but he needs charge along with this to make it work. Or he just wants to go for the 3-3 upgrade. I mean, 3-3, just wait and sit on 3 bases, that would not be bad at all.
That wouldn't be bad at all, and we have the charge upgrade, yeah, as you stated, yes. We have the third just completed, so he's going to try to catch up. I don't see him actually going for a large push here. I think he really missed that window. Now, he went in there, he got a nice feedback off, killed a medivac full of units, and actually got a little something done. But I'm thinking he's going to have to stay on the back foot here. He doesn't really have much to come with. And
let's see what viPro can do in the main base of ThorZaiN, though. There's a warp going in with 4 Zealots, and this could be actually do some damage if he micros it, which he doesn't right now. Oh, now he's going to drop.
He's going to drop them in there, and there's a few Marines here.
If he could actually focus down on engineering bay, that would be huge, but no, he can't.
Absolutely huge. He takes out some Marines, and he's going to be able to take down some Ghosts as well, it looks like. No, he managed to save the Ghosts, actually. But how are we doing on the economy side? Did he manage to kill any workers?
Actually, not really.
No.
So,
and then we go.
Well, look at ThorZaiN's army. That's a 12 Ghosts. So that's like more Ghosts than he has Marauders, and almost as many Ghosts as Marines. So
that's how you like a Terran army, I've heard. You've been talking a lot about Ghosts, and especially against Protoss, underused unit.
Definitely. I mean, they don't have to rely on the spells to actually do a lot of damage anyway, but there's a great storm going down from viPro. ThorZaiN's Marines down in red. But the one advantage with the Templar composition over the Viking is that the Terran can actually go for a lot of medivacs, which means you can heal a lot, of course, which is good.
Which is nice. Medivacs are good. I hate medivacs because I don't play Terran. They're pretty good. And he has a lot of Zealots just hanging around the map in very strange locations. I don't know why.
And he's going to go for it.
Didn't want to show those. And
here
we go.
He's flanking with High Templars. That's great.
This is really nice. viPro's going to get in here and get a few storms off. That's not really actually hitting the market. That's a better storm one. They're doing some damage
but
there.
But now he's not flanking. He's just coming from one direction. I mean, with so many Zealots, it's like a Zerg army. You need to flank around, which it looked like he was going to do great the first time. but now it's not anymore. He needs to
Really,
spread out his
really didn't manage to. He had a nice, interesting spread. He's going to lose the mothership here, which is going to be a small nuisance. It's not that big of a problem this late into the game, but you still want to keep that one if preferable. He's also going to lose the observer there. Does it have another one with his army? Because do we have cloak on those?
We have
ghosts?
cloak and no observer for
This is
viPro
gonna
and
be
cloak
very
for ThorZaiN.
tricky.
I mean, if ThorZaiN just realizes, ooh, still some great storms from viPro, but he can't get bullied around by these ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. And those ghosts are doing their real work with that EMP, actually. viPro has been pushing in, and the flank you talked about has been very hard.
Though.
Yeah, he's really doing some work with those High Templars, even though the Templars are taking out
+3
quite
attack is
quite
done.
quickly.
If viPro just stalls for another 15 seconds, he gets +3 armor. It's going to be a great fight for him.
I think he just wants to
3-3.
bully ThorZaiN a little bit with this. And ThorZaiN is so good with his ghosts. He always keeps that EMP and always keeps the shields low on viPro's units. He couldn't really flank there because all the shields were taken out.
So the +3 is done in 8 seconds.
All right, so in 8 seconds, he's going to be
as
able
soon
to
as
push.
it's done, viPro needs to go for it before +3 finishes for ThorZaiN.
Yep. Does he know that? Does he feel that?
Oh,
that's a good question.
It's done now. Does he want to go for it?
Doesn't
How
look
big
like
are
he's
your
still on
balls,
the back
viPro?
foot, and he's got many units clumped up, so I'm guessing we're going to see some huge EMPs here.
45 3-3 zealots.
Oh, and a nice storm getting some damage off.
Yeah, some great storms. And the Vikings aren't doing anything.
Oh,
so
absolutely
storm
huge
flag.
storms taking out that, and viPro is going to probably keep chasing this, but then again, how much damage is he going to be able to do? This
Look, the
turn
ThorZaiN's
on is
army
quite
is so
quick.
red.
Yeah, it's absolutely red. So with the direct engagement, viPro is going to be able to take out a lot of units, but there's still no observer in that army, and those ghosts are really doing the damage they need to.
Wow.
They're just left unchecked in the middle there.
Finally, ThorZaiN realizes, but if viPro just pushes on, I mean, these are 45s, or not 45 anymore, but there's like 39 zealots. I mean, that's pretty scary. He can get this third base for ThorZaiN.
Exactly.
Down.
He
However,
can get
no
this
proxy
down.
pylons for viPro, which is pretty bad.
That's a bit tricky, but then again, he decides to not do this. He wants to keep his army.
He
Just
can't
leaves a
send in,
few
he sends in
zealots in
4
there.
zealots, which is great. I mean,
Yep.
if you just send in your whole army there, you're going to be in a bad spot. But look at the amount of High Templars for viPro. It still has a fourth base on the way in the top left, but the only thing I'm missing now is a Colossi transition.
And ThorZaiN is really not dealing with those zealots. He finally gets Marauders over there to deal some damage, but I think he got a whole bunch of workers killed.
He got 16 workers, but
Yes.
ThorZaiN is building 6 SCVs at the time, so
Yeah, and
it's not a huge deal.
It's not that much. He's 52 to 61, but then again with the mules, of course, that makes that evens out the difference. And this late in the game, actually ThorZaiN is slightly below viPro.
And he's just
but
going to go
once
for
it
it, man.
stacks out
viPro
to-
just pushing in.
Nice, and viPro seems like he got a found a nice spot to deal some damage there, and charges in, trying to take care of as many ghosts as possible here. And he charges into the bunkers. He's gonna have to turn around. He can't be staying there. It's a nice storm pushing the units back, and he keeps dancing up and down the
can tank
ramp.
for ages. 3-3 on them.
Yep.
Here's actually the first observer, or the second observer joining the army. So viPro's in a pretty good spot against Cloaked Ghost as well. But does he know of the fourth base for ThorZaiN? He doesn't.
Oh,
Needs to send
that's a tricky,
send
and
something
if
up
he
there.
did, he would definitely take that out right away. He's still at a nice advantage, though, but it's going to be quite hard to push that ramp into the natural. Is he not going to go? Well, he has some zealots in the third, so that one's actually being taken care of quite well, and he really needs to lift those orbitals up and
It's
fry
still
them away.
6 supply depots for free for viPro, which is great. But here's
Yep.
the biggest thing, the second robotics facility and the robotics bay on the way. So there is going to be a Colossi transition from viPro.
All right.
And there's actually some cannons building up, so he doesn't want to get his observer sniped and then die to Cloaked Ghosts. These
No.
cannons are going to be for the detection mostly.
Yep. Let's see if ThorZaiN is actually pushing out, trying to duel, and huge EMPs landing, taking out quite large amounts of those shields. So it's going to be quite hard for viPro. And what is he trying to do? He's just stalling time here to get back into Colossus deck. There's so many gateway units, just a whole bunch of zealots, and trying to keep those High Templars up there in the back. So this is a huge micro battle between the Ghosts and the High Templars. And let's see if ThorZaiN can go in there and snipe off the Observer. Oh, it just got out of scan range, actually.
but
And he
it's
tries to
gonna
run in there with the Marauders, taking out some of the High
That's
Templars,
two
but he
High
gets some
Templars for
huge
free.
storms off. And he actually only got one High Templar for almost.
And it's going to be the engagement here. viPro is charging from one angle, and ThorZaiN has the bunkers to fall back to.
There we go, but there's so nice EMPs landing for ThorZaiN. But then again, pretty nice storms as well from viPro. And viPro just tries to get in there, trying to pick off those ghosts as he can. And oh, the High Templars got taken out one by one. He was actually doing very well with those until he actually moved them into the front there. And it's a hard it's a hard thing to do there. You have to react to how the EMPs land. You have to draw your zealots back if they get EMP'd too well, but that actually leaves your High Templars vulnerable as well. So if you just go in at the bad time and get a bad engagement, this could really swing into the other players' favor.
Drawn-out engagement, but I think if ThorZaiN would look at his factory, he would move it like one screen upwards, he would win the game, because he would see the Colossi transition. Right now he has no idea, and the first two Colossi are on the way for viPro, so if viPro can just stall out for his Colossi transition, it's going to be great, but...
This is looking pretty bad for him, actually. Oh, it rocks, ThorZaiN runs through a great storm here, and another nice storm. So the storms are really keeping viPro in this still, but all the shields are very low. Then again, the Terran army is very low as well, so I'm thinking he should probably turn around and try to get a little something done, because all those High Templars are being chased down right here, which seems like a very unnecessary deal. But then again, he just probably wants to stay safe, wait for the Colossus transition, regroup at his base and move out. And he's taking a base at the top as well.
ThorZain's army. He's just gonna do a huge doom drop in the main base.
Doom drop. He's just flying around, and there's no pylon to spot that there. Yep, this is a pretty risky one. Well, he's actually going to down check for an expansion, which is not going to find one. He should check one for one though in the top left corner.
The top left one actually.
All right, he finds that one right there. So now he knows that there's a base up there. The question is, does viPro know about ThorZain's
Okay, ThorZain knows about the Colossi now. This is pretty huge. 4 Colossi out for viPro as well as extended thermal land. So if viPro just takes an engagement now, it's going to be great for him. But ThorZain is building 4 Vikings at a time with +1 attack. So
and here comes the Doom Drop.
Yeah,
actually, ThorZain sends out some units to drop the base in the top while he picks up his recent main army and to drop it into the main. And let's see what he's going to focus down. He takes out the cannon to start off with. He's going to take out the Twilight Council. And actually, viPro sends a lot of units to take care of the units attacking his top base, but there's not much to protect the main with. And is he going to be able to snag any of the Colossus? No, he didn't. A nice feedback took out the Ghost actually before they managed to do a lot of damage. And they're going to be chased out here. ThorZain's going to be chased out of the main. And at the same time, he's dealing with the top army as well. So he actually managed to take his 2 bases, keep his 2 bases nice, sound and safe, sending in a few zealots into ThorZain's 4th here, but he's not going to be able to do that much damage. The question is, did ThorZain manage to take out any vital tech buildings there?
I mean, the big thing for ThorZain here is not do damage, it's keep viPro busy. Yeah. If he can keep viPro busy while he's building up a Viking count,
that is true.
That's just what he's need.
He's got 4, he just had 4 earlier, so he's really producing those Vikings.
It's going to go up to 9 Vikings now. With like 9 Vikings against 4 Colossi, it's going to be okay. And that's just what he's waiting for. And now it seems like we have a bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're waiting for the server. I'm waiting for the beer server. I would like something to come in here and serve beer for me. That's what I'm waiting for. That's my screen says waiting for server. Why is your screen saying waiting for server? Tell me.
I'm waiting for
a push now. Does he feel like he has the advantage with the Colossi now before those Vikings have gotten out? What do you think?
viPro's he has the chance right now. There's actually the game going back, but his chance is now. I mean, he has to go for it. And ThorZain can, in theory, just lift up his units in medevacs and just go for the base trade anyway.
Yeah.
But he actually might be able to get some ghosts for free here with the main army.
Actually, yes, he's chasing them down. He's going to get a few, at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
Look at this medevac like for ThorZain.
Yep, there's a lot of medevacs flying in. ThorZain actually turns around, so he decides that there's no use to actually make any type of trades, and viPro is trying to push up into the 3rd base there,
no
but didn't really get that done.
for viPro.
Oh, well,
if
this is going to be very hard.
Follows the Colossi, they're just going to die.
Yep, the Colossi are going to die.
Oh,
and quite nice storms, taking out so much health from that Terran army. But then again, I actually got my beer serve. That's very nice. See?
Okay, back to the game now.
Back to the game, sorry. All right.
ThorZain managed to take out the Colossi, but there's just so many zealots left for viPro that this is not GG yet. I thought that viPro was going to win that for sure, no problem, but viPro actually still has a chance. He's ahead in supply.
Yeah, there's a few Marauders doing a lot of damage inside of the base of viPro actually, but he's ahead in supply stunningly, and he goes up to the top, taking out that planetary fortress, which should be no problem for him. He's going to lose a part of that army, actually. No, he has to run out of there. Wow. Nice repairs, and all the zealots get stuck in a choke there and going to be able to be taken off there. So he cannot afford to lose that many zealots. He's taking care of the drop inside of his natural, but then again, and actually all of the command centers are flying here. The orbital commands are flying for ThorZain in his 3rd here. But viPro is not that far ahead that he can afford to lose units in a way like that.
I would not say viPro is ahead at all, pretty much. And he's actually
Not
building...
anymore, since he lost the units.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just keeping building Colossi, which I think is... To be frank, it's a terrible choice right now. He has no Stalkers, he has no anti-air of any sort, so ThorZaiN can just send in his Vikings and kill the Colossi.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a lot of cells with good upgrades, which is great, but it's not going to help against Vikings.
No, not at all, actually. And there's a Dark Shrine coming down, just to be able to transition, get some more Archons into play, I guess, or get some more harassment on those bases. He's actually really going to need to change this up to harassment
here,
mode.
though.
There's some damage done by that Archon, but there's a few Stalkers left to take care of those Vikings. He's going to be able to do that, though, so losing a whole bunch of those Vikings, then there's 2 Colossi that will still be able to bully ThorZaiN back for a bit.
Actually, no Vikings here for ThorZaiN.
No, they were actually taken up, but he managed to clump them up, get a few shots by an Archon, and then there's a few Stalkers to catch that up. So actually, viPro managed to stall that attack out a little. He would have been out a little bit. He would have been in a very bad position if those Vikings would have still been alive. And ThorZaiN's going to try to push that base again. Is viPro going to be able to flank him nicely here? No, actually ThorZaiN just turns around very quickly, scans, and figures, I should be able to do some damage before that army arrives.
It looks like viPro is going to go for it here with searching in the cells, but these Colossi is actually doing some work.
They're doing a lot of work. They're roasting a lot of those units, but it's very hard to attack that up that ramp for viPro, actually.
He warps in 4 DTs. If ThorZaiN is not on point with the scans here, he must take a lot of damage from this.
Very nice EMPs coming down from ThorZaiN, actually taking out so many of those shields, and it's going to be hard for him. There's a Viking trying to flank, a lone Viking trying to flank those Colossi. Not going to be able to do that much. We have some more Vikings popping up later on, but they're not here yet. So this is a dance around the other base, and there's been a lot of damage done in the main, the natural of viPro. So this is looking like it's going to be able to turn into a war of attrition here. You might say soon. ThorZaiN has free reign to start muling up and start working up all his expansion, and he's muled the hell out of his top expansion right next to viPro to be able to get that one before. Yeah, it's very disgusting. To get as much economy out of that. And there's a huge engagement here. I'm not going to talk about the economy, but it doesn't look too good for viPro. He's keeping his Zealots in the back for some reason. The Archons are taking a lot of damage, but the Archons he will be needing for taking out those Vikings and possibly some Medivacs as well.
Big round of Zealots there. He has a Storm now, but it's not going to be enough with 1 Storm against like 4 Ghosts in this MM army. So, I mean, ThorZaiN with muling this 5th base and taking the gases there, viPro needs to be so cost-effective if he wants to engage.
Yep, it needs to be really cost-effective here.
He's sending some DTs on the map, though, which I think is a great move.
Which one? He's
sending some DTs out on the map, which I think is a great move.
Yes, I think that's a very good move. He really needs to turn this into a harassment game as well. ThorZaiN has been able to do a lot of harassment while these big engagements have been going on, and it's really time for viPro to actually try to take that one.
Gonna get some high Templars for free actually. viPro is not microing.
Oh, this is looking very bad for him actually. Oh, ThorZaiN turns around again for some reason. I'm thinking that he could have gone in there and made a lot more damage. He's trying to send in small groups of units at the time and doing some damage. And viPro, meanwhile, is trying to do some harassment. Actually managed to pick up a few workers, but then again, ThorZaiN has so many orbital commands that he can just mule up expansions very quickly and reduce that income and put the income up. And there's the GG from viPro, decides that this is not going to be working out actually. He's been losing units a little at the time, and he was almost down 100 supply there in the end. Very quickly, ThorZaiN closed in on that last actually mining base of his, and in that case, he didn't really have the possibility to start mining anywhere else. I think he could have taken this possibly with some more harassment earlier on. If he would have multitasked well enough, then the bases for ThorZaiN were quite open actually. He could have put some DTs in there earlier on. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, viPro, he looked like he was in a great position there. Yeah. With the Colossi transition in a perfect time, ThorZaiN not reacting to it, ThorZaiN not scouting it. He could have just, if he would have just went for it there with the 4 Colossi and his big cell count, it would have been pretty good. But I mean, he just kept making Colossi Zealot. It's a terrible mix.
It's an absolutely terrible mix, and of course, when the Vikings came out there was nothing to really stand against them. So they took down the Colossi very easily. Now, viPro has actually been landing a lot of good storms. He really likes his High Templars play, and he's actually been taking a lot of value out of those. But is he relying a little too much on his High Templar micro here? I'm thinking it seems and feels that way.
I mean, he might be, but along with like the huge cell counts with the great upgrades,
yeah,
I think that was a pretty much a perfect game plan for viPro.
All right.
But he just wasn't able to finish off ThorZaiN when he had the chance.
No.
ThorZaiN just juking around at his that show with the 3 bunkers on top of the ramp. viPro didn't have enough to break it.
viPro really didn't have enough to break it, but there was a few points there where we talked about it, especially when he had those 4 Colossi popping out and there were no Vikings on the field, but he could have probably made a push and done some more. ThorZaiN, of course, as we talked about in the earlier game here, has a nice read on his opponents. He has a very good ability of finding holes in the build orders, weaknesses, weak parts during the game, and managed to strike viPro quite offensively, very nicely in game number 1. So that one turned out quite one-sided here. viPro had a few of those opportunities that he could have taken, but I don't think he has that good of a read on ThorZaiN.
Yeah, that might be true. I think ThorZaiN's reads are definitely more on point than viPro's.
Yes, very much so.
It seems might be just the experience coming into play here.
I think it's the experience, and I think that's the big part. Dropping these players apart in these games, that ThorZaiN has a lot better read. He has the bigger game sense. It's the experience, all the play he's done, and all the opponents he's faced, I guess, buys into that. Now viPro, as we talked about, very underrated player, and he's playing very well. Basically, the few things that he's had problems with had been reads on ThorZaiN. I mean, mechanically, he's been playing very well. He's been dropping some very nice storms. He's been taking engagements very carefully, picking out nice engagements, and a few times he's been able to catch ghosts, catch a few other types of army units on the side there, and he's been doing that very nicely. But I'm guessing, yeah, there's small differences on this level of play. When you talk about players on this caliber, small differences can make a huge change in the ending.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, viPro had definitely a lot of chances there, but he just let the game go on for too long. And just in the super late game there, when ThorZaiN had like 20 medevacs, that wasn't. I mean, he doesn't have 20 medevacs, but like
million
11
medevacs
or something.
He had around 1 million medevacs.
Maybe,
right?
something like that.
Yes,
with a huge amount of medevacs.
Yes.
He can just poke back and forth with his Marine Marauder army, do a bit of damage and poke, like just dragging it back and forth, and he can just heal it up, which viPro can't. No shield battery in StarCraft 2, sadly.
No, it's horrible. Horrible. I think Protoss players need that. What do you think? No?
No.
No.
I think
okay.
Protoss
no.
OP.
No. Protoss not OP. Terran OP. That's what I say. We're gonna take this outside. You and me, fist fight after this.
Yeah.
We're gonna smash each other to pieces. And I'm actually gonna do something in between the games here. I'm gonna open this beer can that I got.
That's not beer.
It's not beer. No, this is original long drink. It's the Finnish version. I'm gonna open up this can of original long drink, and I'm going to enjoy it. This is and you're going to enjoy your
my cup of tea.
Your cup of tea there. There we go. So this is as well a Barcraft event. I'm going to talk a little about that. And for the people sitting in the audience here, they have the possibility to go down to the restaurant and grab a beer there, watch the games in there. We have a huge screens as well right outside here in the main hallway, the ticket hallway. We can watch the games as well. And after 6 o'clock, the museum is closed down. So for the people here, you can't come here anymore after 6, so they'll have to be here before 6 if they want to see the rest of the games. But the museum was closed down, so they will have free reign here, walking around, chilling out with the mammoths. Yes, that's the word in English. There's large, nice dead mammoths in this museum. It's
or like mammoth skeletons, you could say.
Yes, mammoth skeletons.
Like
they're not real mammoths. No. Sweden
bad.
is not that far advanced in gene technology yet that we've been able to manipulate real mammoths to come back from their extinct position. No,
not yet.
Not yet. But we're working on that. Actually, ThorZaiN is going to be working on that. He'll be studying medicine. I'm thinking ThorZaiN's going to be working on the mammoth question. No, but
that's definitely something Queenie should ask him in the interview afterwards.
Yes, I think so. Queenie, ask him about bringing back mammoths. We want mammoths. There's a very bad joke in Swedish about mammoths. Yes, I'm going to try to translate that. And the joke is, why aren't there any more mammoths? Well, because there were no dadoths. That's the very verse. It's mammutar and puppetar in Swedish, but in English it's horrible.
If you don't speak Swedish, I think mammutar and puppetar
sounds
like
if
cool
you don't
words.
speak Swedish, forget everything I said. There's no jokes in the Swedish language based around extinct species. whatsoever.
just
It's
did that.
horrible. It's horrible. All right, we're going to throw ourselves into the next game and start talking about StarCraft again.
Finally.
So, finally, we're going to see viPro again here. He's looking very focused, and he's down 2-0 now, so he's going to have to start making a comeback, or this is going to be a quite one-sided matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just gonna. He has to do something.
He has to do something. So, what would you do in this case?
I would introduce the
let's get-
players.
What would you do?
I would
You
introduce
would
the players.
introduce the players. All right, let's introduce that. Well, go ahead then. In that
Oh,
case.
yeah.
If you really want to do it, then
Let
take
me go
away.
first here.
Okay.
Red Terran in the top left, nicknamed everything from the Spoon Terran to the Scientist.
To Torsten
Yeah, and Leif.
and Leif.
Yeah,
That's very nice. Beautiful Swedish names. Who is it?
it's EG ThorZaiN.
Yes, EG ThorZaiN, right up there. And we can see him here, very chilled out. He looks quite relaxed, actually. I'm thinking I've got this in the bag. Looks chilled out.
I would guess he's experienced enough to not think that.
Yes. On the other hand, in the lower right corner here, if you took a look at him earlier on, he looked very focused, and he's going to have to really pick something up to figure out how to get a comeback in these games. It is Complexity's viPro.
Yeah, I mean, viPro definitely needs to throw in something that ThorZaiN is not expecting right here.
Yep. And what would you throw in?
I would not throw in just like, Proxy Oracle, Mad Rush.
He could
I
go.
would not do that.
He could go mass mothership core.
No, I don't think he could actually.
Yeah,
I don't
actually, he
think
could
that would
just
be possible.
outproduce on the. He could max out on mothership cores very quickly, and try to do some harassment with them.
How many next side would you go then, if you want to like build the mothership cores from all of them?
No, well, I don't know. As many as possible, I guess.
How many
I would go
mothership
with
cores
one.
at the time can you build off of one base mining?
How many mothership cores at the one time? You can only have one mothership core.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yes, exactly. So mass mothership
what
core. He
would
just
be.
maxes out on mothership cores very quickly, and he does that. I don't know. We're gonna see if he picks up anything special here and anything specific, and see if he's gonna try to switch it up. But as for right now, he's playing very standard. He still's not comfortable enough to go for any very greedy openings here against ThorZaiN. I'm thinking he's afraid of ThorZaiN, well, being in a 2-0 lead, actually taking any pot shots of him with some very early harassment. And actually, he's got an early Reaper coming out here.
Yeah, and viPro actually got some kind of a big scouting intel here, just with the positioning of the barracks. Because it's not positioned as you would in a normal wall-in. It's positioned so that you can build an add-on and then wall-in. So it's going to be like supply depot, reactor, supply depot. I mean, that's not a strong wall as a barracks supply depot would be.
No.
So if he wants to go for like just a big gateway aggression, this could be something you want to use. Probably not, since there's a Reaper coming, so he would be able to scout it. But
Yep.
yeah, here's actually the sell-out for viPro again.
Oh, and he kills off the probe, and it doesn't
actually
manage to
gets
take
out
the
with both
Reaper
SCV
this
and the
time, and
Reaper.
it doesn't even take the worker there. So nice win for ThorZaiN.
Yeah, and the Reaper can just regen, and
Yep.
the SCV can just go back home.
Exactly, and get repaired by his good old buddies. That's the way you roll with Terran, actually. All right, so well, a small victory for ThorZaiN, who can of course regen the Reaper. He has and moved it in to get some more scouting, but it gets chased out by the mothership core, I guess. It's going to be hard for him to get in there and actually get any more scouting information. As with the layering of these bases, he can't actually drop 2 layers with that Reaper, so it's going to have to jump down into natural again, passing the mothership core again, so he doesn't really want to go into the main to get some scouting information.
Exactly, and here we can see a very early robotic facility for viPro, which is not a bad move at all. I kind of like this because this just opens up all the possibilities. He could just go for a couple of observers and maybe an immortal disease to be safe and then transition to something else. Or this could be like super duper fast Colossi. First never gets in to scout this, but there's actually a force field going down from viPro,
nice.
so he can kill the Reaper, but Thurston saw the robotics facility and he saw the fort, so he kind of knows what's going on.
Yep.
Same starting as game 1.
viPro didn't fear the Reaper, which is nice because that's a good song by the Blue Oyster Cult. But ThorZaiN's Reaper, it feared death and it died. Which leads him, though, with the scouting information. And there's a third there's the third command center coming down there, and we have Stim coming up as well. So what are we looking for here? He's going to produce, he's producing Marines, and I'm guessing those going to be for defense, and he's going to try to get that macro going with the third pretty quickly. No large pushes coming in the near future.
Exactly the same opening as in game 2 from ThorZaiN here, and the same opening as in game 1 for viPro. So +1 armor, and probably gonna go into the robotics bay right here. I would guess it's gonna be a fast Colossi, but with a fast factory for ThorZaiN, he's gonna be in a great position from this. He actually pushing out here with 8 Marines and a Marauder, so he probably wants to force a photon overcharge right now.
Yep. He wants to get
viPro falls for it.
viPro scouts that with the observer, so he sees that coming. He doesn't have too much. He's going to be able to, put down the photon overcharge. He manages to take down a pylon. That's always something. Almost traded it for a Marauder, but then again, a pylon is always a small win. So far, ThorZaiN has been winning all the engagements.
Exactly. If we
Very
just open the units last tab, it's actually equal. So let's not do that.
It's equal. Why is it equal? He's lost something.
Yeah,
I don't know what he lost. ThorZaiN, did you? He probably
Reaper?
killed something of his own. Just suicided a
Well,
unit.
he lost a
to
Reaper
actually-
at least.
Oh, he lost a Reaper.
So that's
true.
something. Anyway,
That's
here we
true.
can see that the robotics bay is actually soon finished for viPro, so it's going to be, which I think is a bit weird. It's going to be Colossi with +1 armor rather than +1 attack, but I mean it's viPro style and he seems to enjoy it, so why not? You can actually see he also went for the 3 observers, so he wants to know what's happening on the map, and with the fast starport for ThorZaiN, I think it's a great move because ThorZaiN wants to drop a lot, and the observers are great versus drops.
Observers are very good against drops, and of course viPro knows pretty much exactly what's going on, and he's put out those observers to try to be able to catch any type of drops coming in, of course, and try to thwart those away. So a third coming down for viPro as well, and ThorZaiN is actually just about to land his. The third was just started by viPro, so he's a little behind in that third timing, actually, and it's a little slight bit behind in his supply as well. So he's a little bit behind, a few units down on here, but as of right now, not managing, bothering too much about that. Now then, for ThorZaiN, there's a lot of upgrades coming in here. The 1-1, and he's got combat shields coming on as well. He's building some more add-ons here. So what's he going to go into? Is there going to be a lot of dropping with this, just?
He's going to try to do some damage, but I think viPro should be able to, with the observer placement, I think viPro's going to be able to not take a lot of damage from it. However, you talked about the upgrades. This is the big deviation I can see from ThorZaiN's play from game 1 and 2. It's 2 engineering base very early, and it's going to be an armory really soon. So he doesn't want to fall behind in upgrades because that's what happened in the last game. He was in a terrible position, or for a parts of the game he was in a bad position because he was so far behind in upgrades. But 2 early engineering base right now is a big deviation from his normal play.
Yeah, it is, and actually at this stage it's pretty safe play as well, I guess. I don't think there's any. Is there any huge push from viPro that could really punish him for going double engineering bay?
He just added 5 gateways.
All right.
So
there we
it's
go.
actually transitioning into Immortals. So it's just 1 Colossi without range. So this is just interesting. He just wants to force Vikings out. This is a fake from viPro. Wow, ThorZaiN actually gets in and sees the Immortal. If ThorZaiN was looking there, which I think he was, and he saw the Immortal, he knows what's going on. He's not going to be building any more Vikings beyond these 2.
All right. Is this a tactic that's used oftenly?
The 1 Colossus fake out is really common.
Really
actually.
common. All right.
So
And there we go.
really
There's a
common.
drop
Pretty
here.
common.
Yes, we'll drop here in the third. Actually, ThorZaiN managed to take out all the workers in there, and I don't think he's going to be able. I don't think viPro is going to be able to take out the dropship to actually get anything back from that engagement. And at the same time, there's a hidden drop dropping in the main base of viPro. But then again, viPro knows about this because
he actually recalled his army.
Yep. Did he even recall it?
Yeah, he did. Spanish reports in the main base with no energy.
That's really nice, but then again, he didn't have
no,
enough
maybe not
units.
really nice.
And actually he's losing a lot of units, just a small force. He actually lost one of those Immortals, and the few units he can warp in don't really have the firepower enough to be able to do anything about this. There's an Immortal there, and now there's a few Zealots coming down there. But actually, ThorZaiN managed to do a lot of damage with that one, killing an Immortal and a few workers, and he really didn't lose many units himself.
And most important, I think, is kill the mothership core.
Yep.
So viPro is going to be able, it's going to have to spend some time building up that again, and it's actually supplied blocked right now with no pylons on the way. So losing that mothership core is a big deal, and yeah, I think viPro reacted poorly to that. I mean, he had the observers. He placed 2 observers actually in south part of the map, so He could have seen that coming, but he didn't.
Yep. Well, he did see it coming, but he just reacted with a little too few units. I guess he was thinking that was merely one dropship, possibly, rather than two. And he did actually warp in units and move them down there, but they were just too few, and that resulted in them dying very quickly. Now, there's a lot of harassment coming down from ThorZaiN. He's trying to drop a lot of places here, trying to do some damage. He's trying to get into the natural for quite sneaky way, but decided that no, the main is a lot better. I'm going to drop there instead. And we're starting to move into what we've seen here in the earlier games. We're moving into Ghosts with Cloak, and we had Storm finishing up for viPro as well. And viPro is actually doing a huge push here.
Remember what I said about ThorZaiN seeing the Immortal?
Yep.
He should know that's one class fake out.
Yep.
But he has +1 attack and 8 Vikings. +1 attack for air on the way. So ThorZaiN has not reacted properly to this, and viPro might be able to push in here with 4 Templars with enough energy for Storms, and there's just 3 Ghosts for ThorZaiN.
Yep, at the same time,
oh, he just gets a lot of free SCVs.
Oh, he does get a lot of, and a nice Storm picking up a lot more other SCVs, and these bunkers are going to fall very quickly. But the question is, does viPro really have enough units to push in there? There's only a few units here. It's going to have to be able to land a few really nice Storms to really get an engagement. Huge EMP, and
no force fields going down.
Nope, and that was really taken out, and viPro decided to just tap out of the game very quickly. And that's that, ladies and gentlemen, for the first matchup. We were hoping to see viPro actually coming up with a few powerful games to be able to take the game from ThorZaiN. But unfortunately, didn't manage to get that far. We see the people in the dome here chilling out, leaning back. Actually, it's quite interesting. If you sit there, you have to lean back to see watch the view up in almost the ceiling. It's not a full ceiling dome, but still, it's a nice dome action. Some nice dome action going on. Now, ThorZaiN just chilling out, picking up his stuff, going in for the winner's interview. I'm going to have him talking about this, and I'm guessing I'm going to hear quite confident ThorZaiN. He's not afraid of being confident in interviews.
Absolutely, I would think so. And actually, I mean, that series, I think that's symptomatic for viPro as a player. I think he played pretty good. I mean,
he did play very
he was
good.
really smart
in
a lot of ways, but still lost 3-0. So
which is interesting. There's a little something, and that's what I was talking about earlier as well, with the differences between these players on this caliber. They're actually quite small differences in the way you think, the way you read, but it actually amounts to huge differences, as any small type of misread will of course end you up with the wrong army composition and wrong placement. You might not figure out when drops are coming in. You're going to be able to very quickly lose to something that you really didn't know you could handle. And ThorZaiN is moving in to, we're following him right now, he's moving into the dome. He's cruising through in between people here, who's moved out actually to grab a beer in the Barcraft area, and we're going to have a short winner's interview with ThorZaiN. So I'm thinking I'm going to move this over to Queen E.
Hello. So, that was a pretty convincing series. Did you have anything special planned before going into these matches?
No, I didn't prepare anything. Like, that's a very short but simple answer. I think it's like I didn't prepare for this tournament, to be honest.
So in the first map there on Frost, you used a 3-base SCV pool, which a lot of Terrans have started using against Protosses. Is that something that you've started practicing a lot recently as well? Because it's a bit different from your normal spoon style.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I think, I had to play against MC in WCS, so I played a lot of TVP, like mainly only TVP. That's why I didn't prepare for viPro, because I felt quite confident already. And then I practiced mostly SCV pools, so
it's a solid strategy.
Works.
Exactly. So in game 2 on Dark League Watcher, it was a pretty weird game. Could you talk a little bit about that game in general, like, because it played out a bit strangely?
Yeah, at the start I felt really far ahead, because he tried to go for some kind of, like, I killed the mothership core, and then I saw that he had a lot of sentries, so I kind of knew that he was going to try to do some kind of attack, and I made him retreat without really losing anything. But then I didn't handle my army well enough, so he got in a couple really nice storms and was able to claw himself back into the game.
Yeah, and for the third game, it was basically pretty solid standard TVP straight up macro game. Now going into the final match here, who would you like to face the most out of TLO and Show?
I think TLO is probably the hardest opponent. I mean, he's been performing really well lately, and not to take anything away from Show. He's a really good player. I played against him last weekend, and I just barely was able to win 3-2. So it's either player is going to be hard, but I think I'd prefer to play against Show.
Well, best of luck to you in your final games. And we're going to go back and take a bit of a short break for now. But stay tuned and we'll be back for more soon.